All right, we're trying it again. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, I love technical difficulties, and that's what happens when I try to move around and do stuff. So, oh well. Let's move the camera, huh? Okay. Well, where did I leave off? Did you guys get to see the Honda? Let me know if you got to see the Honda Atc or not. Otherwise, we're just going to have to go with today's topic. But no, you didn't get to see the Honda. Do you guys want to see the Honda Atc I've been working on? Let me know. We'll wait for everyone to come back on because we just lost a bunch of people. It stopped as you guys want to see something cool, and then it shut off. Okay. You guys want to see the Honda? Nope. As long as you don't break the camera, yes. Okay. All right. I'm going to move stuff out of the way so I don't move the cameras at all. How about that? How about I figure that part out? How about that? Okay. This, for you guys who are young or have never put your hands on one, this is a 1982 Honda Atc 185S. All right. It's not the big chassis. The 200s were the big chassis. And this is the little guy. All right. I picked this up. Actually, believe it or not, I picked this up at the same house where I got that engine block. And I grew up on these things. So it's a total throwback. It's something that just reminds me of my youth and being a kid. But I want to show you something about Hondas. You guys want to see something awesome about Hondas? This is cold, all right? I'm putting my hand all over the exhaust, all over the engine, everywhere, okay? It is cold. Let's turn the fuel on, hit the switch. One pull. One freaking pull. That's how awesome these things are, dude. I don't even have the choke on. That's how rad these things are, dude. I've been taking my kids out on it. This thing runs like a Swiss watch. That's the fun, exciting stuff that I like messing with. So anyway, that's a neck breaker. You're an old lady. These are fun. If you don't know how to ride one, then you get hurt. I grew up on these things, so this is a hoot. This is a lot of fun. Just been adjusting the brakes, did some carb work. I got the rack. The rack was all cut up, so I welded it up, painted it, put a brake light on it, and put an air box on the factory air box back on it. I had a little K&N filter, and it was totally trash and wasn't worth it. So anyway, that's been, besides the engines, you guys got to see the engines in the old one, in the previous screw up video. But oh, I left the fuel on. Let me turn the fuel off. All right. Well, so let's talk about a little bit of news that's going on. The big news right now is where the heck. Yeah, it's not a 250R. No. This is a little peewee. This is a little beginner. This is a little fun, little fart around the neighborhood, goof off in the backyard sort of trike. This is nothing gnarly. Yeah, it's not a quad, it's not a 250, it's not a 400, it's none of that. It's just a little goof off one. All right, so right now, today's video is really not about what's going on with production, but I think we need to talk about it. For those of you who haven't seen it, there was a letter sent out to the dealerships earlier this week, and I'm going to bring this up. Sorry. There was a letter that went out to the dealerships earlier this week from Yamaha Corporate that unfortunately announced that there's going to be a temporary shutdown in production. And a lot of people were pulling their hair out going, why? What's going on? I don't understand. Where's my ski? I'm impatient. I want it now. You know, they're acting like Veruca Salt on Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. They're just like, I want it now, Daddy. And I get it. A lot of guys had money down on their new skis, and so they wanted it like right now. And I understand, especially as the temperatures are coming up and people are going out riding, and groups like Florida Ski Riders and other organizations are getting together and doing big events. And what was happening, and just so you guys know, and the letter is honest, but there's some stuff left out. They're saying that because of the winter that really hit Texas, that their supply chain, their parts suppliers, basically were shut down, and consequently, they felt that they couldn't move forward with production. And so because of that, they were like, well, we're going to shut down production for 3 weeks, and we're going to wait till our supply chain fills up. And once we have parts on the shelf, we can knock out product. And there's a reason for this. Earlier in the year, or earlier in the production run, I shouldn't say earlier in the year, but earlier in the production, there were still supply chain problems, but it was small stuff. And it was a fitting here, a hose clamp here, little piddly-wink little things. And the piddly-wink stuff, yeah, okay. Guys, just so you know, I'm not ignoring the questions, all right? I got my laptop right down here. That's why you see me look down, because I'm looking at the laptop. And it's not that I'm ignoring the questions. It's that I'm kind of chewing through topics. I will come back and answer questions. And because you guys were here long, I'm happy to go long. So I apologize for all the screw-ups today. And then last week we had the video early. So I'll stay long, and you guys can pick my brain for an hour. I don't care. So I'm more than happy to take questions. So, okay. So what was going on in the early production run was that Yamaha had some small supply chain hiccups. And how things operate with a lot of these manufacturers is twofold. First, they do their testing with a lot of different product. And they'll find let's just talk about hose clamps. We're just going to, just roll with me, and we're gonna just pretend it was a hose clamp thing. So let's say the new GP 1800R SVHO runs these new hose clamps. I'm making this up. And they do all their testing, and the hose clamps do really well. So they go, okay, we're going to buy 50,000 of these hose clamps. So they make a contract with a supplier, and that supplier has an addendum in the contract that says, regardless of the situation, whether there's a delay or a halt or whatever, you are contractually bound to purchase these hose clamps for the year. They sign that contract, they're off to the races. Well, sure enough, supply chain problem came in, and these hose clamps were delayed, and they're only kind of trickling in. Well, Yamaha can assemble a ski 90%, except for all the coolant hose or all the exhaust hose lines don't have these hose clips. All right, these hose clamps. So they're stuck waiting in a warehouse an assembled ski with no hose clamps on them, because contractually they can't send a kid out with $150 and go to Lowe's and just buy worm gear style hose clamps. They're contractually bound to use these one newfangled hose clamps. And that is how a lot of these manufacturing contracts are signed. A lot of you guys aren't going to care. A lot of you guys are like, I don't care. I want my ski. Give me it now. And that's understandable. But the manufacturer is kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. They can get sued by going out and doing the hose clamp thing, or they can delay production and just kind of frustrate a lot of people. And they sadly picked the lesser of two evils. It's not great. It's not what you want to hear. But Yamaha right now is just suffering under a really poor supply chain problem. It's just what's happening. So that's why that letter went out and went to all the went out to all the dealerships, saying, "Hey guys, just so you know, we're going to be delayed." But the one thing that Yamaha has promised is that Yamaha has promised that they will fulfill the promised production run that they decided upon at the beginning of fourth quarter. And what does that mean? Well, how these manufacturers work. Just so you guys, this is all inside baseball. This is so much inside baseball. But I think a lot of people want to know this stuff. So what happens typically is that by the end of summer, beginning of fall, they have their dealer show. And the dealer show, now, unfortunately, they've been virtual because of, the COOF. But what was going on with the dealer show is that the dealers are watching the presentations of the new product. New ATC, ATCs. I wish they still made them. New quads or snowmobiles or side-by-sides or jet skis or whatever it might be. And they see all this stuff roll out and they get all excited, and then they meet with their regional rep, and the regional rep says, "Hey, Kevin, you're in Tennessee. How many units do you want to buy of our Yamaha Wave Runners?" And me pretending to be a dealer, I'll say, "Well, I sold 50 last year, but the demand is through the roof, and I think I can sell 70 or I can sell 80. And they go, "Okay, we're going to sign you. We're going to write you down for 80. Okay, well, now I'm on the hook for 80. So what happens is that they take that number and they go to corporate and they go, "Dude, Kevin in Tennessee, he upped his his purchase by another 30 units. Well, holy crap, he bought 50 last year. Man, he's, oh geez, that's awesome. He's up by, another 30% or another 60%. Yeah, excuse me, another 60%. That's outstanding." So that's how they gauge their production run. So Yamaha went after the dealer show and they wrote down all these added numbers, all these new numbers, and they said, "Okay, this year we're going to produce, I don't know, I'm pulling a number out of the air, 50,000 units." All right. So maybe last year they sold 38,000, but they've got so much demand that they go, "Okay, we're going to build 50,000 units this year." So that's what I mean by their production run, and that they're going to produce their established production run. Or what they've told the dealers is going to be their production run. Understand me when I say the numbers I just said are make-believe. Honestly, they really are. I just gave you round numbers so that it was a good example. Number two, I don't know if it's hose clamps. So don't say, "Kevin said hose clamps. Oh my gosh, the hose clamps." I was giving a hypothetical. All right. So that's where Yamaha is. Okay. Yamaha's delayed. Now, interestingly, I was on the phone with Kawasaki for about half an hour yesterday. And I have a good relationship with the guys at Cowie, and we're one of the only magazines who, we're the only magazine that Cowie even deals with. So, I don't think it's because, I really don't think it's because I raced for them, but I think it's just I got a good relationship with them, even though I give them grief over not having brakes. So, what happened is Cowie is on their game. They're producing. they had for them, and now mind you, Cowie is the smallest market share, and I don't know how many numbers they sold last year. I really don't know. All right, it could be 10,000, it could be 5,000, it could be 10,000, it could be 15,000, but they sold way more last year than they had done previously, like in a big way. And Cowie was like, okay, well, this is awesome. Let's do more of this. And the dealers came back and they said, yeah, I'll buy some more. I'll buy a few more. So all the dealers were coming in going, all right, we're buying more. So at the beginning of fall, basically, for Kawasaki, that's usually late September, early October. Yeah, it's usually late September. And the dealers came back to corporate and they said, we know we can sell a lot more units. We want to buy more units. Sign us up. So Cowie said, okay, we're producing more than last year. So their 2021 run is going to be considerably more than last year's. And that's good news. But catch this. They usually break up their production runs by location. And obviously because of seasonals, because of like Australia's season is during North America's winter, they are like, okay, we got to get the Aussies taken care of. We got to take care of the Pacifica region. So they start cranking on Australia. Well, check it out. The demand for Cowies is so much more that Cowie is currently still producing units that are going to Australia. And that's a problem because North America is like ready to rock. And they're like, dude, we want our Ultras. We want our STXs or SXRs for that matter. So now they're having to double shift. Now they're doubling up. And Cowie's like, dude, we're cranking. We're going as fast as we can. In fact, to the point, I'll say this, if you guys are interested, if anyone wants to know, Cowie's looking for welders. Now, their plant is in Lincoln, Nebraska. They're paying their welders like almost double. Right now, they need their welders so desperately that they're paying them way more. They're giving them all sorts of bonuses, and then they're paying them overtime. So if you're a welder and you want to get a killer job working for Cowie and you don't mind living in Nebraska, dude, hit them up. The Cowie plant right now is desperate for welders and workers, like really desperate, because they're like, we got side-by-sides to build, we got bikes to build, we got jet skis to build. We're slammed. So they're pretty stoked. So I jokingly said, I'm like, oh, you get some of the guys who were supposed to be working on the pipeline. Maybe you can hire those guys. But that's a little off-color joke. Anyways, so Cowie is cranking production. And I've heard some people say that that Canada is not getting Cowies. That's not true. I even asked, and they're like, that's not true at all. But here's another problem, and this is going to piss some people off, is Yamaha was doing this, Sea-Doo's been doing this, and Cowie's doing this. When they ship out product, they're going to favor the biggest movers first and the biggest territories first. That sucks for guys who are off the beaten path or, in colder temperate areas or what have you. But they're going to feed Florida, Texas, Southern California first before Milwaukee, before Detroit gets new units, or Ontario or Toronto or what have you. So unfortunately, that's kind of where they are. They're just having to move. They're having to prioritize because demand is so high. and there's a little bit of a log jam. So what about Sea-Doo? Well, Sea-Doo's production right now, they're on point. Like I talked to everyone I talked to at Sea-Doo, they're like, we're good, bro. I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah, we're good. Like stuff's showing up. In fact, I thought I was supposed to pick up my RX-PX last week, and it showed up at the dealer on Friday, and I was slammed. Because I've been doing, like I said, I was doing reconstruction, or I was doing remodeling in the office, and I'm like, dude, I can't touch it. I can't even get there. And they're like, all right, well, it's not going anywhere. So I guess I'll pick it up later this week. So I guess I'm the only one here who's like not in a rush to get his ski. I guess that makes me kind of a what is it? I'm privileged. Sorry. Anyway, so I realize I'm like half lit because I don't have. Maybe I can use a shop light. Anyway, but yeah, so what's happening with Sea-Doo is that Sea-Doo is actually turning out product pretty damn good. They're showing up. In fact, we got an article going live tomorrow, actually tonight at midnight, that Broward in Tequesta, Florida, just got a huge trailer full of brand new Sea-Doos, and Chris McCluggage reached out and he's like, dude, hey, can you help us sell these things? I'm like, sure. So yeah, the article goes live tonight of like what units they got. So if you want to jump the gun and just go to their website, they've listed all their product. Otherwise, you can check out the article when it goes live. But yeah, like Tequesta, like Broward Motorsports in Tequesta, they're moving Sea-Doos pretty quickly. All right, so let's talk about the topic today. And this is where everyone's going to get mad. All right. Number one, I always wait a year when it comes to new stuff. The first year of everything is untested. They test it. Don't get me wrong. They test it. But they're not tested by John Q. Public beating the crap out of it in the Pacific Ocean or racking up 50 hours in 1 week. They don't hell test them like automobile manufacturers hell test cars. And I say hell test, I mean hell test. And some of the automobile hell testing is thorough. Watercraft are tested hard and they beat the crap out of them, but they're not hell tested to that degree. It's a little bit of get it out fast. It's a little bit of production, the production model versus the pre-production model. And then there's just a little bit of, well, we'll let the first guys be our guinea pigs. And that's not an exaggeration. It's not great. It's not the best, but it happens. And I don't really know how to say that any nicer. The first year production of any newfangled technology, I'm always reticent. I always want to wait and see. I'm patient enough to wait and see. And that goes with hull materials. That goes with electronic doodads. That goes with a lot of stuff. Hell, that goes with engines to that effect. The first years of the SVHOs had problems. The first years of the Ultra 250s, 260s had problems. Supercharger, the first ceramic clutches on the Sea-Doo superchargers were heinous. The first couple years of the carbon seals when they moved to Mexico were bad. There's a lot of things that are just having teething issues. So let's talk about what's going on that's known currently. Right now, Yamaha, besides having supply chain problems, Yamaha, there's one hiccup that is happening, and it's not widespread. I haven't seen numbers to make me think it's widespread. And the dealers are already got service. There's already a service note out, or a service request out to the dealers to address the lanyard, the kill switch. And a couple guys have noticed that you can pull the lanyard and it won't kill the engine. And that's because the whole control module on the steering for the new Yamahas have changed, except for on the FXs. The EX and FX are the same. They haven't changed from last year. The VX and GPs are new, okay? They changed the control modules or control pods on the handlebars. And unfortunately, that new switch is hit or miss. And my understanding is that they're already on top of it. They're already addressing it. So if anyone has a new GP or if anyone has a new VX, go out and try it. Instead of hitting the stop button, pull your lanyard and see if the engine still runs. And be leery of it. Be aware that it might be a problem. Because if you go to your dealer, they'll fix it. All right? They'll fix it. They are standing by the product. With Sea-Doo, the big concern right now is IDF. Okay? So everyone's, okay, guys, oh my gosh. There's so much panic over IDF right now. I am looking at everything here on IDF. Chill out. All right? Let me explain to you what's happening with IDF. So during production, here's how IDF works. All right? It's a two-piece clamshell. And in that two-piece clamshell, there is an oil relief or an oil circuit that runs up and feeds the cog gear. The oil runs up and it runs through and feeds the cog gear. All right. I always call it a dog gear, but that's old. That's old manual transmissions. Anyhow, what was happening was that although the holes were drilled and machined, they were not lined up. Okay. And what was happening in the early failures that was not widespread. All right. It was not widespread. It didn't happen to everyone. Okay. Was that a handful, I shouldn't say handful, but a limited run of IDF units were misaligned. So that the oil passage was it was cut off and it was starving. All right. It was that cog, and that cog was burning up. And so it was actually severing the connection between the engine flywheel and the drive shaft. So they immediately caught it. They fixed it in Juarez. I know it's not Juarez. It's a smaller town outside of Juarez. But they fixed it in the production facility. The new units coming through have all been checked. They're on top of it because they know that everyone is screaming at the top of their lungs on the internet going, ah! Okay, they're on top of it. So what they've also done is that they've sent out a service note to dealers to have their mechanics make sure that if anyone has gone through, and I don't know I know if it's a production run from date to date. I don't know if it's a limited number of VIN numbers. Basically, if you have IDF and you've bought a ski, go to your dealer, say, hey, I'm concerned. I saw that you guys have a service request out. It's not a recall. It is a service request. I just want to come in, make sure that my IDF is lined up and it's working good. Can you pop the case off? You know, pop the front of the clamshell off. Make sure that everything's aligned. And then bill Sea-Doo for the time because I'm not paying for it. Okay? Talk to your dealer. Don't try to call corporate. Don't call Sea-Doo.com. Just talk to your dealer because corporate's going to push you to your dealer if you get a human on the phone. All right? They're going to say talk to your dealer. Or talk to a certified shop. If you find a certified BRP, certified Sea-Doo shop, have them do it. Okay? Now, it's if they have to replace it, if it has to be redone, all right, they have to gut the damn thing and put new gears in there, you got a problem. Because there's machine work involved. Because there's machine surfaces. And to my understanding, there is a delay on the parts. And I don't know how long the delay is. I don't know how far out they are. But I know there's a delay on the parts if you have to get it repaired. I don't have better news to tell you. That's just everything I've heard. So let's talk about the difference between a service request and a recall. All right. So, and by the way, when I yell, I'm mocking people's yell. I'm doing this like annoying, that's what I'm doing. So, I don't hold complainers in high regard. Don't get me wrong. You've dropped a lot of money on a brand new ski. You have a right to be pissed. I don't blame you. So, I'm not being fair. So I apologize. Okay. So anyway, a recall, per my understanding of law, in order to qualify as a recall, there has to be there's a threshold of unit failures. Okay. With automobiles, it's 15,000. 15,000 cars have to report the same problem before they issue a recall going, okay, bring your car in and we'll change the whatever. With personal watercraft, I don't know of very many recalls. I know of class action lawsuits that have resulted in repairs, but I have not heard of any major recalls. Even the timing chain problem with the early SVHO engines, and I'm talking like 2014, 2015, that was not a recall. There's still people out there riding around on their original timing chains, believe it or not. And I can't think of a major recall off the top of my head. And there is no new technology on Kawasaki. There's no new technology. The fly-by-wire stuff has been on the supercharged skis since 2010. It's not new. It's old. It's tried and true. Dude, yeah, it's tried and true. All right. It's small block Chevy. It's 350 Chevy with a quadrajet. All right. It is old school. Yeah, there's not a lot of new technology. Even on the STX 160LX, the sound system is the same sound system since 2014. The fly-by-wire system is the same system that they used on the 310X in 2010. So there's no new technology. So it is old school. It's like that old school. So anyways, what will happen is that Sea-Doo or Yamaha or Cowie, for that matter, they will issue a service request, and the severity of the service request will depend. Let me back up. Depending on the severity of the service request, the dealer might actually contact you. All right, they might actually send you a letter or an email. They might actually call you and go, "Hey, Mr. Shaw, you have a brand new RX PX 300, and we found out that I don't know." The handlebars are installed loose, and we got to go in and we got to impact them, tighten them up. Oh, okay, I'll bring it in. All right, minor thing. And there has been things like that where it's like, hey, listen, this part wasn't, this nut wasn't torqued down to spec. Please reach out and have everyone torque down their, motor mounts or whatever it was. And I knew, there was something like Yamaha said that like some hardware wasn't torqued down, and it got everywhere on Green Hulk, and it got everywhere on Facebook. And people are like, oh, okay, torque wrench, click, 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 click. Done. Off to the races. So that's all it is. The issue is that you need to be really on top of stuff. All right. You just need to be cognizant of, what's going on with keys. And I strongly recommend that you have a good relationship with your service manager. If you are leaving your units more or less alone, get a good relationship with your service rep. It might be the manager, it might be the counter worker, it might be whoever in the service department. Build a good relationship. Now, if you're going to modify it, if you're going to put an ECU tune on it, which will void your engine warranty, even the stock tune one, if they find out, it voids your warranty. There is no ECU flash that is somehow blessed by the gods that Sea-Doo, Cowie, and Yamaha say, oh, go ahead, that's fine. It all voids warranty. All right, you just need to be a sneakier thief. So anyway, if you are leaving your ski pretty much alone, I strongly recommend getting in tight with your service rep. If you're modding your ski, find a shop that you trust. Because if you're not the one doing the wrenching on your own ski, find a shop you trust, so that they can perform those service requests when they come through. Because despite even if you put sponsons and a prop and an intake grate and a cold air kit and an intercooler and a blow-off valve and a stage 2 tune, well, there might be a service request for the fuel pump or the steering system or whatever. And you got to take it to your shop and go, hey, dude, can you do this? Oh, yeah, no problem. Because if you go to a dealership, they're going to charge you for it. Because like you're a modded ski and you're like, well, all I'm asking for is the service. And they'll be like, well, okay. Let me stop. There is specific protections through, there are actual customer protection acts. And we did an article with on this very topic with Jerry Gaddis, and I can link it in the description. And let's say you've got full tier warranty. All right, you got bumper to bumper warranty. You got from nose to tail warranty. Let's say you put sponsons on your ski and an intake grate, and that's it. That's all you've done. And you're out riding, and you're hopping some waves, or you're riding around, and boom, the handlebars break. And you're like, what the heck? What just happened? All right. You take your ski in to your dealership, If a service guy goes, well, you modded your ski, you got sponsons and a prop, we're not going to touch your ski. Well, guess what? You can take him to court. No joke. All it really takes is a letter from a lawyer. No one likes getting letters from lawyers. All right. But take them to court or get a lawyer to write a letter or just scream and yell at them until they oblige you. Because you haven't touched the steering system. And it broke. All right. It doesn't matter if you painted the damn thing pink with polka dots and, put LED lights all over the damn thing. They still got to fix the handlebars. It's under warranty. All right. If the pump lets go and all you have is, you've modded something else, preferably not your engine, because they might be like, well, you're spinning the prop too high. We're not going to touch it. But if you haven't reflashed your ECU, but you might have a cold air kit, or a free flow exhaust, all of a sudden they go, well, the prop let go, and you're like, well, yeah, the pump or the prop or what have you, and they go, well, you modified it. I haven't touched the pump. You guys are in charge of the pump. So you have protections. You do have consumer protection. You just need to know your rights. I can't dictate all of that here. That would take 5 hours and me reading legalese for most of that time. So that, unfortunately, that's good news. You have protections, but you need to do your homework. You need to do your due diligence on that one. And again, look up. You can go to the Watercraft Journal, type in Consumer Protection Act or warranty, and those search, those keywords will bring up the article. But I will put it in the comment section at the end of this. I do want to make sure that you guys have that. All right, let's see. So we talked about what's going on with the manufacturers. We talked about manufacturing schedules. We talked about what's up with Yamaha, what's up with Sea-Doo. We talked about service claims, a service claim or a service ticket versus a recall. I mean, obviously, with a service claim, if you see a service claim come through, like on Facebook or on Green Hulk or something like that, and you have one of those units, they're gonna eat the cost of the repair. All right, they'll eat the cost of the time. They'll eat the cost of the parts because it's on them. All right, that's basically a soft recall. So that's really what you're looking at. Let's see. I don't think there was anything else left on the topic that I had prepared in doing my homework. So let's see. Yeah. Okay. Well, guys, I'm going to go through the questions. Again, I apologize for the false start and then showing up. I thought we were on time to start at 8 o'clock. Everyone showed up at 7. So my apologies. And we're gonna take it from here. I'm gonna start going through the questions. So you'll be looking at the top of my head for a little bit as I'm reading the laptop. But we're gonna scroll back up. Woo! We got a lot. All right. Nice clip. All right. Something. Okay. All right. No, we did not. Don't break the camera. Okay. Julian Ramirez writes, I just picked myself up a 2021 GP 1800R SVHO, and it is already broken in with 8 hours on it. What should I do next besides the Revo Racing tune for longevity? Thankfully for longevity, and depending on what tune, I don't know what tune you put on, Julian. If you did do the stock 8000 tune, I would put on the engine breather and call it a day. The Yamahas have really tight tolerances. The pistons that they use also have an extra ringland, which means that there is an extra scraping ring that means that the SVHO engines do not suffer from the same blow-by, which is compressed air and fuel blowing past. Actually, I have a piston right here. Here we go. Piston. Visual aids. We got visual aids. Okay. So I said it's got an extra ringland. These are ringlands. All right. And the Yamaha's got an extra one. It's got one more than the Sea-Doo. And what that means is that it's got extra protection because you'll put a ring in here. All right. It's a flat ring and they scrape alongside the cylinders. Okay. Well, as air and fuel are pushed down on top of the piston by the supercharger, some can blow by, can blow past these rings and blow that air and fuel, unspent fuel, and carbon and exhaust into your oil, into the crankcase. All right. Sea-Doos have a bigger problem with it than Yamahas do. They just do. All right. I've done multiple videos on why. So please just go check out the videos because I'm not going to do it here. The Yamahas don't really have it. All right. The Sea-Doos really, really have it. And that's why I recommend an oil catch can on the Sea-Doos. And I'm actually, believe it or not, and I really hope that Riva doesn't get mad at me, but I'm currently developing my own catch can because I saw what JP Racing did, and JP Racing's is really nice, but it's a glorified version of the Riva. And both the JP and the Riva are a deadhead circuit. They're a dead circuit. And that's not really efficient. The best way is a through circuit, is a complete circuit. And I'm working with a couple guys, and we're actually thinking about creating our own oil separator. I'm not calling it a catch can. I'm calling it an oil separator for supercharged Sea-Doos. And that should be coming out probably more towards the end of this year. And I'm pretty excited about it, but it's going to take some doing. So anyways, hang tight on that. That's going to be kind of fun. Don't wait till the end of the year to get a catch can. Spend the $100 or $140 or $150 and get a Riva catch can. You'll see that it works. But my version is going to be better. Anyway. All right. So hopefully that answers you, Julian. Oh, Julian. Okay. He wrote the question twice. Okay. All right. Yeah. My Honda ATV is like that. One crank it starts without choke, as long as you stay away from the ethanol fuel. I went through the carburetor, and the biggest problem with ethanol fuel when it comes to these old engines is primarily with rings and bearings. All right, your high tolerance areas, because those are the old rings and the old bearings do not have the same thermal coating that new stuff does today. Even cheap Chinese knockoff replacements have thermal coatings that weren't on these engines back then. All right. Up for sale? Eventually. Not right now. My kids are enjoying it too much, and I got some other stuff to do to it before I finish it. I haven't decided whether I want to restore a metal gas tank and put it on. That's the plastic gas tank that holds an extra gallon. It's plastic. I thought about getting a metal one, painting it, and get the decals, but I haven't convinced myself that it's worth $200. All right. All right. Honda engines haven't changed much in the past 30, 40 years anyway. I had a big red and a 250R. Yeah, dude. Good old rigid frame. Let's see. I heard they were ramping up production. I asked Cowie if they were ramping up production, and I asked Sea-Doo. I know Yamaha can't. And they all said the same thing. They said, if we quote unquote ramped up production, we would be in the same position that Yamaha is. We would run out of what we have on the shelf. They literally have parts on the shelf. And if they were to ramp up production, they would run out of product. So, yeah, you just can't do that. All right. Tampa Power Sports has some just left there. Okay, good news. Okay. Miguel Silva, no need to apologize, Kevin. We appreciate your time. Well, again, guys, everything's kind of upside down and wonky. I apologize. I hate to keep anyone waiting. 15 minutes is on time for me. On time is late. So, all right. We are sold out here in Michigan. I was floored that they had over 15 available in Tampa. Yeah, but guess what? They're getting full MSRP. You ain't gonna find a sale, dude. Anyone who's sitting on product isn't doing their job. All right. The only reason why dealers have inventory is because they just got it. Like they're fresh off the truck. All right. First COVID, now trouble in the Suez. Supply chain is going to be messed up for a while. Yeah. I think of, was it Trouble in the Suez? Isn't that a line from We Didn't Start the Fire? Anyway, yeah. Don't get me started on that. I think that's intentional. I don't think that was an accident. That's not Exxon Valdez. It wasn't a drunk captain. So I think that was intentional. Chip shortages, wood shortages. Soon to, yeah. There's a lot. By the way, there's a polymer shortage. So plastics. We're going to have a problem with plastics real soon. I guess what sucks is I ordered a GP 1800R in August. Others have ordered way after me, even went and bought off the showroom floor without an order, and I still don't have mine. Yeah, I know you're in Canada, Jason. I've sent you stuff. That's a tough one. The problem is it's a buyer's market. It is a buyer's freaking market. The reservation thing, I've seen too many people get their reservations sold out from underneath them. And that's why I'm kind of like, when people email me, I never suggest it. That's just me. I just say, hey, listen, be hot, be ready to rock. Have an empty trailer. All right. It's kind of like finding an old project car. you got to be looking at like Facebook Marketplace, and you got to be looking at the forums. And if the car pops up and you've got your cash right there, you hit that dude up and you go, I got $5,000 cash. I can be there in 8 hours. And that guy's like, oh, okay. Hook up the trailer and go. That's how you get a project car, the one you want. I'm kind of the same way with a jet ski, especially right now. Right now is insane. It's insane. I just don't know what to tell you. TP shortage soon. Good thing I've got a lot in storage. All right. Let's see here. Miguel Silva. Here in Ontario, everything is sold out. I put a pre-order back in September. I was told by my dealer I should receive my ski by March. Unfortunately, I'm still waiting to receive mine. All I can do is wait. Well, it's still March. He's not lying. Hopefully something comes in this week. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I'm sorry. All right. Oh, a lot of guys are feeling the same thing. Yep, Jason, me too. I ordered mine the weekend of the release, but but they have them in stock in Florida, but they want $3,000 in dealer fees, $2,000 in freight. I told them to get lost. Guess what? You're going to pay it. You're going to pay it. You're going to pay it. You're going to pay. Guys, look at what they were charging for high-performance cars. When the Hellcats first came out, they were charging, it was a $62,000 car. They were getting $108,000 at dealerships. That is insanity. Now, mind you, corporate came down on those guys, but right now they're setting their price. So unless you're ready to jump in your truck and drive 10 hours away, you're going to pay. Or you're going to wait. Or you're going to wait. You're going to pay or you're going to wait. Okay. Hey, Kevin. Let's see. Ice Cold Gold. Hey, Kevin, I'm looking at a Sea-Doo RX-TX 255. My riding style is very aggressive. I'm wondering how the hull of the ski performs. Things like handling, predictability, hookup over, say, 2 to 3 foot chop. Well, let's see. The RX-TX 255 ran. When did they go to 260? The 255, the Phoenix platform, was the Phoenix hull. I used to race an 09 255. You know what's funny? The RX PX, not the T, but the PX 255, the tiny little RX PX. You know, it was a one-seater, even though they said it was a two. The RX PX 255 tracked straighter in rough water. I knew guys who raced the Catalina offshore and the Dana Point offshore, the Dana Point to Oceanside offshore on those, and they tracked like a freaking razor blade, just rah. They were really good. The TX did okay if you did a couple things. You have to get rid of the OPAS, the Opus rear steer thing. Get the block offs that extend the running surface or the wetted surface of the hull. Okay, it's basically a vertical running plate or transom plate. You got to do that. You got to put an intake grate on it, a top loader intake grate. You know who had the best intake grate for those was R&D. R&D Racing, Bill Chapin and Glenn Dickinson. Dang, they had the best top loader for that hull. Yeah. Shoot. I don't know where you'd find one. Riva's a good one, but the R&D one was out of sight. That was a good one. Boy, that intake grate would keep you glued to the ceiling. It was really good. All right. All right. Let's see here. Yeah, here's Yannick emailed me. He's like, dude, we're all waiting. Where are you, bro? And I'm like, I put all over Facebook, 8 o'clock. He's like, well, that's not what's on YouTube. And I'm like, pretty sure. And I realized, nope, I set it for 7. So I screwed up. So Yannick was right. So everybody thank Yannick for me getting in here earlier. All right. Is there any new features on the Kawasaki? It's green. No, I'm kidding. No, nothing. Nothing in 2021. I mean, 2020, 21. Obviously, the new bell of the ball is the STX 160s. It's all old tech, but it's just been finally applied to the 160 or to the STX. As far as the Ultras, no. Ultras are untouched. I have heard some very good things, but I'm a little hesitant to say that it'll be 2022. 2023 guaranteed breaks. 2023 breaks. Whether it's 22, doubtful. 23, guaranteed. I bet you that 505 it's 2023. Don't hold me to that. All right. Let's see here. Oh, Scott. Yeah, that was the original plate on my Charger when I lived in California, was Stout 69. I'm gonna get that for Tennessee. I right now have a limited use antique plate, but I'm gonna drive that damn thing all week long. I'm gonna drive my kids to school in it, especially with that Hemi in it. 710 solid roller cam, 710 lift, dude. 710. I'm so stoked. Okay, sorry. Does Sea-Doo have an idea of how many IDF failures there are? They do. I don't. They know how many. They know how many went through misaligned. I don't. And guaranteed they won't tell me that number. Guaranteed. Yeah, sorry. Let's see here. Auto trim for the new Yamahas. Okay. The auto trim on the new Yamaha has not failed. I haven't seen anyone say they failed. But I will tell you, it ain't great. It's a gimmick. I mean, they even said to me, they're like, dude, it's a gimmick. And I'm like, okay. Like the whole drop the nose and go into the corner thing, I can out toggle, like boop 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 boop. I can out toggle that better than the computer can. The computer's slow. The launch control, Greg Gaddis, Jerry Gaddis, and myself both got, or all three of us got better results physically trimming it, trimming down and then bringing it up as you accelerate. We can do it faster than the auto trim. It's a gimmick. Guys who think it's the greatest thing ever either don't know how to ride or they don't know the difference. But it's okay. It's great. I don't know. I'm trying not to be a jerk about it, but it's okay. All right. Just send a bulletin to the first year owners. Yeah. All right. Need an IDF delete kit. The IDF delete kit is don't order it. If you get a GTX, well, you don't have to order it. And then guess what? Take the drive shaft out and take the engine plate, the engine cover plate, and all the guts out. My understanding is that the engine block is the same. So that basically all you have to do is just add it on if you want it, or take it off if you don't. All right. My friend's dealer told me, this is Navy Subby Dennis. My friend's dealer told me that the shaft is redesigned. His broke and got stranded on the water for hours. The dealer said the shaft is totally different. He got his last week. Yes, I said this. I think I said this last week, or maybe in a previous one. I also said this on the update video on the carbon seal. All skis equipped with IDF and the RXPX has a redesigned drive shaft. It also has a redesigned clip, redesigned billet hat, and the carbon seal is the same because it's the newer carbon seal from 2020. And yes, the drive shaft is different. The drive shaft is shorter. And with the RXPX, it makes sense that it's shorter because it's a shorter ski. And yeah, it's not weaker. It's not more porous. It's not bad. I'm surprised the drive shaft failed. I kind of want to doubt that. But I'm not calling anyone a liar. So, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, the IDF issue is predominantly with the oiling misalignment. That's what is the service ticket going out. All right. I have a 2021 GTX with the ski and X mode module installed on it. the ski module and the X module. I recently purchased a SCOM and I'm getting ready to install it this time next week. I know I can't run both the SCOM and the other module at the same time anymore. Can I just disconnect the battery and then swap the wires around from one to the other, or was this cause a problem? The SCOM doesn't plug into the same places that the X module and the ski module plug into. Are you sure about that, BNN? Who told you that? That doesn't sound right to me. Because the SCOM plugs into the reader port. Doesn't plug into the same spot. Shouldn't. That might be a question for Riva, because I don't think that's correct. I want you to call Riva tomorrow. Yeah, I want you to call Riva tomorrow. All right. Let's see here. Kevin, okay, yeah. Mandalay Industries at it again. We live in a society. Sorry. What about, okay. Yes, I've heard about the IDF shaft. I've said it in previous videos. I knew about it when the new skis came out. What else is wrong with the GP 1800R SVHO? Nothing. Just that little the kill switch. The kill switch is a little wonky. So you're gonna have to double check. Otherwise, have fun. I recall I had a recall on my 1996 ZXi 1100 for updated sponsons. I think I might still have the letter. Oh, Mark, was that when they didn't have sponsons? Oh, I think I remember that. I think they came out and they either didn't have sponsons or they had these little piddly-wink little things that didn't do anything, and people were absolutely eating it on that ski on the ZXIs. I think I remember that. Okay, wow. When is Sea-Doo going to bump up production? Production is exactly where it is. Demand is higher than it's ever been. And more people are just trying to nurse off the same tit. I don't know how else to say it. All right. I don't like the reverse lever on the Kawasaki. No one likes the manual reverse on the Kawasaki. No one in their right mind. There are people that I like who like the manual reverse. So I don't want to say anything mean, but I hate manual reverse. All right. Yes, that is true. I was just wanting to know if they're going to come out with thumb reverse like I was talking about many months ago. Yes. Yes. The reverse, the patent for the reverse. I'm going to put my feet up. The patent for the reverse is a thumb lever, just like the throttle on this guy. The throttle on the Honda, the little thumb lever. All right? So you give it gas with your index finger, and you hit the brake on the right. And why do they do that? They do that so that they don't have to pay royalties to Sea-Doo or Yamaha. Because Sea-Doo and Yamaha figured out the left-hand one. And they're too late to the game. All right. Hood closes improperly, needs readjustment, hose clamp may come loose, boat may sink. No call from dealer, found out from BRP when I checked on extended warranty. Scott. What are you talking about, Scott? I'll tell you what, you know what? There was a recall. There was a recall by Kawasaki last year on the 160LX, the STX 160LX for the hood. The hood was the mount for the hood was snapping, and the inner liner of the hood was really thin plastic, and it the bracket would mount up to it, and with any stress, it would actually break the inner liner, and so they changed the bracket and how it mounted. K-Speed down in Australia, in Brisbane, Australia, they made their own fix, and then Kawasaki came out with theirs shortly thereafter. All right. What's the best place to get Watercraft insurance? What do you recommend? Progressive is probably one of the best. People are very happy with their Progressive insurance. We had McEnany for a while with the magazine. They were okay, but they weren't comprehensive. Progressive is the most comprehensive. Yeah, you can cover like your cars, your hot rod, your dirt bike, your house, your boat, your skis. So Progressive covers a lot of stuff. All right, Progressive right there in front of me. All right. Wow, we got a lot of super chats I've been missing. Shoot, I just skipped way ahead. Guys, I'm sorry. I skipped way ahead. I need to scroll up. All right. Let's see here. Tom, yeah, okay. Let's see. Keep all the stock parts, put it back to stock when it goes in for service. Jorge's got it dialed, dude. You got to be a smart thief. If you're going to modify your ski, throw it back to stock. Put it all in a tub. In this, I got black tubs where I keep all my old parts and stuff like that. Put it all in a tub. Tubs are freaking $14 at Lowe's or Home Depot. Got a big old, 17-gallon tub. Throw all your stock junk in there. And if you got to go and have service done, spend a couple hours and throw it all back together. Jorge is 100% on board. Okay, he gets it. This new administration is probably thinking of disallowing any aftermarket engine modifications different from OEM specs. That actually, and the only reason I'm bringing that up, I would kind of avoid politics, but right now there is the RPM Act. And the RPM Act is trying to stick its foot into limiting modified new cars. Anything with a smog equipment, they're trying to keep you from modifying it. Now, right now, the apologists are trying to say, no, it's only about the big rolling coal diesel guys. And the rolling coal guys, they got to be stopped. Well, that's fine, but if you give a mouse a cookie, you give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. All right. When they come in, they say, well, we don't like that your AR-15 looks scary. Can you take the bump stock off and the scope off? And we don't like the magazine. We want it to be able to hold 5 bullets instead of 15. Don't give them an inch. So shoot down everything. All right. Let's see here. What type of double trailer do you recommend? I'm caught between a galvanized and aluminum. If you can afford aluminum, get aluminum. If you can afford aluminum, buy aluminum. You'll tow I don't care what you can tow it with a Toyota Yaris. You can tow it with this Honda. Aluminum is so nice. A single place aluminum trailer, you wouldn't even know your ski was back there. Galvanized is good. The galvanization process doesn't get inside of everywhere. So it's not as thorough. Aluminum will fare better, especially if you're going into salt a lot. Get aluminum if you can buy it. All right. Now, Kevin, I'm trying to find out if they are coming out with a thumb reverse for Kawasaki. I've said so. Hey, Shop Dog. Hi, Shop Dog. You want to say hi? Oh, here's my chubby blue heeler. Hi. this is my. This is Rue. Hi, Rue. Okay. Okay. All right. Go lay down. Go lay down. There you go. Good girl. Don't leave. I saw you wander. Go lay down. Okay. Anyways, so if you leave, stinking dog, she wanders. Okay. Let's see here. Isaac writes, I picked up a new GTI and it came with a Deca battery at 14. Yeah. I want to run a second battery. Oh shoot. I want to run a second battery, but their new model is 18. Would there be any issues if I did this? You want to run 2 batteries? What for? What are you running, some gnarly sound system? I make it a point not to mess with the factory wiring harness, and I definitely don't make a point of not messing with what is the prescribed load or duty cycle and load capacity of the factory harness. I wouldn't mess with it. Sorry, I wouldn't. I don't know why you're trying to run 2 batteries. You typically don't need to run 2 batteries. So I'm a little on the fence with what you're messing with. All right, slippery water shoes, are they good? Last out. Okay, the boots, dude. I can't kill the slippery boots. I try to kill the slippery boots. And I'm talking the boots, with the Velcro around the top, lace up with the Velcro. I kill the boot. I mean, I beat on my boots, and I can't kill them. They're the best. The slip-on shoes, I've seen glue leaching. Not as bad as like the SBTs, and believe it or not, I think they stopped making those. I think, but Jet Tribe's boots were really good too. Jet Tribe's boots are really good. Like farm truck going up the road, downshifting. Anyway, yeah, for slip-on booties, slip-on shoes, the slipperies are good. Everyone's slip-on shoes are pretty much good. They're not great. They're not going to knock your socks off, but they're good. All right. Do you prefer the Sea-Doo Factory Depth Finder or the Garmin Fish Finder for the RXTX 300? I'll tell you what, you'll get so much use if you put the Fish Pro Garmin setup on your RXTX, because it's not just fish. It's not just your depth. It's not just worrying about depth. You got all your GPS. You can map all your routes. You can do so much more. So if you're and you know what's cool, that same setup can go on a GTI, can go on any ST3. So that's what I love about the Sea-Doo modular wiring harness. All right. Would you recommend using F11 on the FX hull to add another protective coat on the hull, or maybe a ceramic coat? I haven't used F11, and I haven't. The only reason I put a ceramic coat on a hull is not for speed, but for protection. And if you can get underneath it and you can do a really good ceramic coat, do it. My caution is whether it'll stay planted on your bunks really well, especially if you have rollers. Oh, they'll be really slick on your rollers. Carpet bunks, not so much, but plastic bunks, not so much. Or I mean, yeah, you might have slipping problems. Then you'll have to do a lot of reapplication with the ceramic coat. All right, let's see here. I have a brand new VX. What can I do to make it faster? Lose weight. Like, you need to lose weight. There's nothing to make that thing faster. Sorry. Is there any special care or cleaning you should do when keeping your ski on a floating dock as opposed to pulling it out of the water on a trailer after every use? Well, if you have access to a hose at your dock or marina, wherever you are, there's nothing stopping you from doing the traditional cleaning process. You know, flushing out your water box and, you know, flushing your engine if it's an open loop system. There's nothing stopping you from doing that if you have access to a hose. So if you can do that, I suggest doing it. All right. Will the separator make more horsepower? No. What the separator? Wow. Ugh. Okay. If you were on an engine dyno and you were looking at fractals, yes, it would make more horsepower. The oil separator is designed for engine longevity. It's designed to extract the miasmic. I'm going to close that gate, dog. I'm telling you, don't go out there. Go inside. Dog wants to run out the gate. Sorry. Gate's open. Go outside. Or go inside. Go inside. So it's designed to keep that engine blow-by from contaminating your oil. It's designed to keep that crankcase pressure, that blow-off, that crankcase atmosphere from getting into the throttle body, getting into and contaminating and coating your intercooler. So technically it would, over time, free up horsepower, but it's really not adding horsepower. You know, does that make sense? Okay. Let's see. Does the black powder coat wear out on the Riva ride plate? I've heard mixed messages. A lot of people go, oh, it totally falls off, it totally flakes off. And then you look at their hull and you look at their ride plate and you look at their intake grate, and it looks like it's been through a sandblaster. And you're like, dude, you're beaching your ski. No, I'm not. I'm like, yeah, you are. And then you look at his Facebook page and the ski's 4 feet up the beach. So it depends on how you take care of it. JP Racing is the same as Fizzle, if I'm not mistaken. JP does solid work. Yeah, JP, dude, they're going fast, dude. And you watch his videos, he's going fast. The JP oil separator is not an oil separator. It's a catch can. And it closes the circuit. And a lot of you guys might not know what the hell I'm talking about. And that's fine. That's why I'm going to sell a lot of these. But JP also advertises using the numbers off the dashboard, off of Sea-Doos. And those numbers are off by 2 to 3 miles per hour consistent. So I'm not calling him a liar, but I'm saying, listen, if you're going to do work with anyone, get a GPS. Get a GPS and get your phone with a good GPS app. Do not trust the speedometer. Do not trust the speedometer. Do not trust the speedometer. Oh, don't trust the speedometer. All right. Florida doesn't have a lemon law. They have a moss law or something. If your car is tried to be fixed 3 times or 30 days, you can get a lawyer. Oh, okay. All right. I removed the throttle body airflow restricted thing and Riva exhaust. Do I need to reprogram the equipment, or will I be okay? Okay, so you took the flame arrestor out from behind the throttle body, and you did a Riva exhaust kit. So you got good airflow in and out. All right. If you reflash the ECU to the stock 8000 tune, that ski is going to run like a scalded dog. That ski is going to hustle. All right. What you're going to encounter right now, you're going to encounter that engine bouncing off the rev limiter. And it's going to bounce so hard off the rev limiter, the ski will literally bounce. It'll do this. And you go, why the hell is the ski doing this? All right. You're going to think something's wrong with the ride plate. You're going to think something's wrong with the intake grater. You're going to think something's wrong with the prop. You're like, oh my gosh, my ski's unhooking. Well, what's happening is that the engine is literally backing off the prop. So the prop is going one revolution, and it'll actually stall because the ECU is quite literally telling the engine to slow down in pulses. So the engine is pulsing. All right. That's what happens when you bounce off the rev limiter. Ask me how I know. I've done it. All right. I know you want a Demon. You know, I do and I don't. I like older stuff. I want a 71 Demon that I could put that motor in. No, I'd put a third gen Hemi in a 71 Demon. It's lighter. And put a Pro Charger on it or a Magnuson supercharger. Make my own Demon engine. I like building engines, so buying a Demon is kind of. Don't get me wrong, dude. There's guys who modify their Demons and they're going fast. But a guy who goes out there and buys his horsepower, you're kind of lame. I don't know. Sorry. I like built, not bought. That's just me. Not calling you any. I'm not saying you're any less or whatever. If you like it, that's cool. This is what turns me on. All right. All right. Yes, Yamaha did shut down the plant for 3 weeks. All right. What are your thoughts on upgrading the fuel cell on a 2019 RXTX to a 2020 RXTX fuel cell? We have an article on how to do it. Please go to watercraftjournal.com, type in Fish Pro gas tank. We show you how to do it. You have to modify a couple things. It's not as easy as just buying one and throwing it in. But, dude, it takes like 10 hours to do it. But we showed you how to we showed you how to do it. All right. The old slippery when wet shoes before Chinese started making them were really good. I still have a pair. They work. Thor makes really good products, and they're still holding together, so I wouldn't count anyone out. All right. Doesn't the 255 have problems with something? Yeah, the supercharger clutches. Supercharger clutches go out like crazy. So you just have Jerry Gaddis or, Gaddis would do it in a heartbeat, and you know you can trust them. Have Jerry Gaddis rebuild the supercharger for you. Call it a day. All right. Trenton writes, hey, Kevin, I always wondered why Kawasaki never developed the technology for a left throttle to have a brake, reverse, and neutral, where Cedo and Yamaha did. It's called it's called not wanting to pay a licensing fee. It's patents. All right. So that's why they're going to, in the future, have it on the right-hand side. They're not going to put it on the left-hand side. They have a patent for a right-hand side. And because it's going to be on the right-hand side, they can use the actual throttle trigger from their quads, and they're repurposing parts. So they're actually saving money doing it. Hey, Walter just sent us $20. Thank you, Walter. We appreciate it. Walter, if you'd like to get your 2 free stickers of the Watercraft Journal, please email me at kevin.shaw@shawgroupmedia.com, and we'll mail those to you in snail mail. All right. Let's see here. Got a GP 1800 HO with audio, out the door, $15K. That's pretty good, especially for right now. All right. I don't know who you are, because I know the real Kevin can't make it through an entire live stream without saying demonstrably. Yeah. Screw you. Screw you, Mike. I'm going to start using juxtaposition now. All right. Hey, Planeta Tierra comes in again with another $5. Thank you, sir. All right. So I have a GP 1800R SVHO on order. I want to put a power filter, blow-off valve, free flow exhaust, water box, all the stock 800 RPM flash. Will that void my warranty? Tracy, number 1, don't do any of those. Literally don't do any of those. Number 2, yes, they will all void your warranty. If you do it all, they will completely void all of your warranty. Number 3, follow the guidelines of the parts I suggest for modifying your ski. Unless you are doing more than a stage 2 kit, you do not need a blow-off valve. You do not need a billet teal $1,000 blow-off valve unless you are making more boost. You're not making more boost until you go into the supercharger. That means cracking open the supercharger, putting a new wheel in it, and putting either a spacer gasket in it, or shaving the freaking clamshell and closing it up and making actually more volumetric pressure. All right? If you're not making more atmosphere than the factory was already making, you do not need that blow-off valve. You do not need the through-hull exhaust ever. Ever. Do the free flow exhaust if you want. All right? And the cold air kit if you want. But the stage or the stock 8000 tune, literally that's all you need to do, and you're going to go 76, 75, 76. All right. I went 75. I weigh 240 pounds, and we had a full tank of gas in that ski. It went 75 at 0 elevation in Louisiana. If you're in higher elevation, okay, fine. Cold air kit. Don't heavily modify your ski. You are blowing money out of your ears by doing all that. Because you're not going to go any faster. You're not going to go any faster. If we went toe to toe, and if you took a 2001 GP and I took a 2001 GP and I did the stage 1 kit, or excuse me, the stock 8000 kit, and you did everything you listed, and we had equal weight riders and the same amount of gas, drag race, we'd be neck and neck. You wouldn't be any faster. Sorry. All right. 2019 300s can accept both X module and SCOM per the Riva website. Okay, Chris answered it. Good. Decided on a 2021 FX SVHO for me and a 2021 VX HO for my wife. Happy days ahead. Thanks for the email, Kevin. I'm very happy. Very happy to help you out. I'm glad you decided on some really fun skis. Hey, Emotion also made a super chat of $5, so thank you very much, sir. All right. Let's see. Let's see here. Oh. All right. Yep, they were tiny, and the updated ones were monsters. ZSI sponsons. All right. My dealer has a tank for testing jet skis. Lucky for me. Very good. Okay. Well, that allows you to make sure that everything's working out all right. Okay. What Yamaha model has a similar hull design as the Fish Pro? None. Thank God. Towsley Motorsports in White Bear Lake, Minnesota claims to have all models of Sea-Doos in stock and at list price. Well, guys, if that's true, I suggest you do a road trip and go get your skis. Let's see here. If I do an 8,000 reflash and need to take it to the shop or something, can I put it back to stock? Will the dealer be able to know that I reflashed it? If you buy the Map Tuner X, which is the small module that plugs in to your ECU, you can literally undo your flash and no one will know. No one will know. And the reason being is that a lot of times when it came to reflashing an ECU, it would scrub the count clock. It would typically scrub the countdown clock or the hour clock on the ski, or it would see a lapse in usage. And in using the Map Tuner, there is no gap. All right, it keeps that clock ticking. So that actually works out really, really good in your favor. So I do strongly suggest the Map Tuner X. And Riva did work because Riva is a dealer. Riva Power Sports, and then Riva Motorsports, and then Riva Racing. They know all the rules, and so they're just finding ways to circumvent the rules. All right. Let's see. They'll probably know because as soon as they scan it, they will know. No, they won't. No, they won't. No, they won't. Because it's the stock 8,000 tune. All right. There's a lot of people who are saying I'm going over on purpose because I screwed up last time, so I'm happy to let this one go 2 hours. If you guys are done, you can check out, but whatever. How typically ECUs work and how dealers or manufacturers are seeing if an ECU has been reflashed is that it doesn't have true data logging. It doesn't record everything. What it does do, and this goes for Yamaha and Sea-Doo, is that the ECU is recording tags, and they're recording these little tags and occasionally registering an alert. And an alert says he was over 8,000 RPM. And this is how long he was there, because what it's recording is RPM at duration. So how long was he at this RPM? How long was he at this RPM? How long was he at 2,000 RPM? How long was he at 6,000 RPM? And then there's a category for 8,000 plus. And if it sees a lot of time spent over 8,000, it sends up all these flags. So when the manufacturer requests an ECU a forensic on an ECU, they'll look at that category and they'll go, dude, he's spending all this time at 8,000 RPM. Holy crap, he reflashed this thing. And that's what they're talking about. All right. Hey, Stoney, for the dog, $5. I'm not giving the dog $5. I don't care. All right. I have a blue heeler too. They're awesome dogs. Let's see here. What have you heard about the listen to the rest of the video. I'm not talking about IDF again. Purchase a 2021 GTX 230 with IDF. Regretting this now. And a 2021 Spark Trix 3-Up. Do you have an opinion on purchasing an extended warranty on both? If yes, purchase through Sea-Doo or some third part. Well, Sea-Doo right now is having really good extended warranty offers. I know Cycle Springs in Florida, in Clearwater, Florida, has the best extended warranty. And they have a powertrain warranty, which no one has. Lifetime powertrain warranty. I'm not joking. Check it out. I'm not joking. So, yeah, go check out Cycle Springs Power Sports in Clearwater, Florida. All right. Let's see here. All right. Towing jet ski behind a boat. Heard of hydrolock water getting back into the engine. Please explain what brands does this affect. It affects all of them. It affects all of them. Basically, what happens is, okay. When you operate your jet ski, when you operate a personal watercraft, let's pretend that you're the passenger and you got a friend driving, okay? Imagine yourself sitting backwards, so you're holding the handrails like this, you're on the back and you're looking off the swim steps. So you're kind of leaning over and you're hanging on. All right. What do you see? Okay. Yeah, you're seeing wake. You're seeing white water. But around the pump, you're seeing a cone of thrust, right? But I want you to look at the negative space around the cone. Okay. What happens, and we explained this in our exhaust articles, and why the free flow exhaust is demonstrably better than the through hole exhaust. And that is because what happens is around the pump, and as your ski is at speed, there's a negative pocket, a negative pressure or negative atmosphere pocket inside of the pump tunnel. All right. It's literally suction. All right. That's why like a rope can get pulled in from behind, not through the intake grate, but actually from behind, is because there is a vacuum there. Okay. And that vacuum actually helps extract exhaust out through the factory exhaust outlet. So that's why not through hull, but free flow exhaust works better actually has better flow characteristics than through hull exhaust. Anyhow, but if you're towing a ski, you're not generating that kind of thrust, right? You're not pushing all that water out. You're being towed. So that flat surface and that cavern, all right, that recess is now pulling in water. There's nothing to push it out. And it's pulling it in, and that water is going up in through the exhaust, and it's actually filling up the water box, and then it's going right into the exhaust manifold. Okay? Now, Yamaha, if you guys ever take the exhaust off your Yamaha and you look at the manifold, there's actually what looks kind of like a trumpet coming out of the back of the end of the manifold. And that flared trumpet, and there's a baffle in there, is trying to keep the flow of water from entering. Okay, they don't want that water intrusion getting in there. So Yamaha says never tow a wave runner faster than 5 miles per hour. Okay. Sea-Doo and Cowie have similar systems. They're not the same, but they're similar. All right, and they have the same sort of request that you don't tow over 5 miles an hour because you're not generating that suction. 10 miles an hour, you're generating that suction and you're getting back pressure, and it's just going to start pulling in that water. So do what the manufacturers say. You will hydrolock your engine. Okay. I've towed skis back fast. Don't get me wrong. I've done it. But I also didn't do it over long periods of time. It was a very short sprint back to the water, back to the dock, and we were good. So don't do it over a long period of time, and don't do it fast. All right. Should we trust the speedometer? No. Okay. I'm installing a Garmin Striker 4 on my 2021 FX Cruiser HO. I need to extend the power wires, but can't find the small gauge wire. Is it okay to use wire a little thicker? Well, it's not so much size of wire as it is the rating of it. You can have big gauge wire that has a really poor rating, which means like actual flow. There's too much resistance. So just make sure that you're using the same quality or the same resistance. As long as you're not skipping, as long as you're not messing with the resistance flow, you should be okay. All right. Any recommendations for a helmet to wear on my Watercraft? Well, if you're riding a Spark, I got one of those stroke helmets. No, I'm kidding. I had really good luck with, Fly Racing. Fly Racing, of course, has a fantastic line of really good carbon lightweight helmets that don't waterlog really bad. So if you have a get off, you're not going and sucking in a lot of water. I had ridden some helmets that really were terrible. Like it felt like you were wearing like a diaper over your face. It was awful. My Troy Lee is great, and my Fly are really great. Troy Lee Designs helmets are really open, motocross style helmets, and the Fly Racing helmet is one of my favorites. I would really go with either of those. I had one called like a Kali or Cali, like Khail or Ali. I think I always think of like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, but like Kali Ma, the guys who ripped out the hearts. They look like Kali, and that helmet was hot garbage. Oh my gosh! You couldn't take any of the liners out to dry them, and so you just had to sit your helmet out, and hopefully it would dry, and it got moldy. And when I had my get off wearing that helmet, I couldn't breathe. I was doing this. All right. Since I'll have a Sea-Doo 300, it's supposed to run 91 octane. If I'm stuck putting 87 in it, do you have an octane booster or something else you recommend to avoid issues? Yannick, good question. First, the ACE engines have a NOx sensor in them, and that NOx sensor is going to make sure that if it reads detonation or pre-detonation, but it's technically called detonation, if it starts to register detonation, it will back off the timing a little bit, and it'll pump more fuel in. And your mileage will suck, but it won't hurt the engine. 108, that yellow bottle with the blue label, 108, is a good additive. And you can get it at any Walmart. You can get it at AutoZone and O'Reilly's. So that's a good one, is the 108. And I think it's in a yellow bottle. I think it is. I never get it, but yeah, I think the 108 stuff is one of the best. Okay. Let's see here. Any recommendations? Okay. Did you see the news regarding Sea-Doo going electric? Dude, we broke the news. We broke the news on the magazine. All right. Just so everyone here knows, the YouTube channel is like the side dish for the magazine. We publish new articles every single day, Monday through Friday, subscription free at www.watercraftjournal.com. I'm doing this for fun because I'm a masochist. All right. Please read the magazine. Guys, subscribe to the magazine. It's a free newsletter. Every Friday it goes out before noon, and we recap the week's articles, so you don't have to sit every week and come to the magazine, although we really would like you to. But check out the magazine. We publish new articles every day, Monday through Friday. Okay. Hey, Navy Dennis. Thank you for the super chat of $5. He writes, would the VX Deluxe be stable enough as a fishing jet ski? Should I cancel my Fish Pro? What do you think compared to the hulls? What is bad about the ST3 hull? Wow. Okay. Dennis, because you gave me a super chat, I have to answer this, but I did a whole video on this. In fact, I've done several videos on this. But Dennis, I strongly recommend you go through the playlist and you look through offshore characteristics for hulls. Okay. The VX is good. It's not better than the FX. neither are as stable stationary as the Fish Pro. Stationary and from probably 10 to 15 miles an hour, the ST3 hull on the Fish Pro, and of course everything else, you know, the RXTX and the GTX and the all those, a Wake Pro. From 0 to 15, dude, it's as stable as a pontoon boat. But out in open ocean, that hull has problems as is. As far as tracking, as far as cornering, as far as rider input, there is a lot left to be desired with that hull, unless you put on the Pro Series sponsons and the intake grate from Riva. And I strongly recommend both the intake grate from Riva and the Pro Series sponsons. If you are only going to do one thing, do the Pro Series sponsons. If you are going to shop around for sponsons, never talk to me again. The Pro Series sponsons are light years ahead of the competition. And we did a very detailed article explaining the hydrodynamics between the two. All right. I go deep into detail, like melt your brain detail. All right. So the VX Deluxe is a sporty craft. It's a sporty, quote unquote, 3-seater, but it's really a 2-seater. You'll enjoy it. But the FX is a superior tracking rough water hull. Tracking means going straight without wandering. But if you're going to do a straight line and you got all sorts of cross chop, tracking is what you want. That's what I want. I don't care. I will sacrifice ergonomics and comfort for hull design. That's me. Am I saying that's you? No. Some guys have bad knees, bad legs, bad hips, bad back, and they need the ErgoLock seat. And I'll tell you what, nothing beats Sea-Doo's ergonomics. Nothing beats Sea-Doo's ergonomics. Nothing. All right. What are the differences between the VX Cruiser HO and the GP 1800R HO? Price is very close. Same hull and motor. Same hull design, same motor. Different ride plate and intake grate. Different hull and deck material. And tilt steering. The HO, the GP HO has tilt steering, has a top deck and low end hull made out of Nano XL2. It's lighter. All right. It also has a top loader intake grate and basically Riva's old ride plate. Their stage 1 ride plate. The VX HO is made out of Nano XL, little heavier, does not have the top loader intake grate, does not have the ride plate, does not have tilt steering. So hopefully that answers you. All right. Addition to my question: stable enough in a big lake or ocean, or would an FX be the main option for Yamaha fishing? I think I answered you pretty good on that one. All right. Bought a 2021 GTX. Should I be worried? I don't know. There's a lot of things to be worried about. All right. Just bought a pair of VX Limited HOs. Any must-have mods? Mostly lake and light ocean bay use. DJ, yes, the mods I strongly recommend for that ski are the long hauler auxiliary fuel system kit. It adds 13.5 gallons of range to your ski. You're going to want both. You're going to want 2 of those for your 2 skis. And they're available through the Watercraft Journal. Go to watercraftjournal.com, watercraftjournal.com/shop, and you'll see it there. All right. Sea-Doo Fish Pro, carbon ring, leaking tricks to fix 17 hours on Sea-Doo, dealer replaced, but haven't ridden since. Well, you need to ride it and see if it still leaks. Put it in the shallows. See if it still leaks. Put it on your trailer and back it in. And just run it on the trailer. And take the seats off. Get a flashlight. Sit over it with the engine running in the water. Just running. Okay? Just in neutral. And just look. And let it run 5 minutes in the water on the trailer. Get your trailer deep in the water. Keep it hooked up. Don't unhook it. And run it. And watch. And look. It's not going to sink. It's on your trailer. But it's in the water. That's your test. Do you know how often I do that, guys? When I test stuff, when I test mods, I just drop the trailer in the water. Okay. Looks good. Let's go. That's it. Okay. Our purchase was heavily influenced by your review, so thank you. DJ, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Top 3 warranty-friendly mods for GP in your opinion. Cold air kit. I wouldn't touch ECU. That voids your warranty. Sponsons. The intake grate is good. The intake grate is good. Engine breather kit, that's for longevity. Cold air, engine breather, Pro Series sponsons. You're not going to go any faster, but you'll handle better. All right. I have a 2021 VXHO with a scratch gouge 1 inch long and 1 millimeter deep. Does the Nano Excel stand up with epoxy resin, and does it have to be patched right away to avoid delamination? How fragile is it? Brett, very good question. Brett, you're in trouble. It's not epoxy, so don't use epoxy. Use paint. And it's a 3-stage paint. All right? Go to Color Right, and I think that's Color R-I-T-E, Color Right, and fill it. They have a small brush kit. Yamaha uses a 3-stage paint. Hopefully you didn't get down that deep. Praying you didn't get down that deep. But you're going to want to fill it, and you're going to want to build it up. Build it up, build it up, build it up. You know, paint it, fill it, let it dry. Paint it again, let it dry. Paint it again, let it dry. And once you've built it up, then you take the clear coat and you clear coat it with a little brush and do it. And I'll tell you why. It's automotive paint. It's automotive paint. All right? And let's say you got the same kind of scratch on the hood of your car. Then let's say I show up with a pressure washer, with a 3,000 PSI pressure washer on the 0-degree nozzle and went like this and went and started spraying the pressure washer right at that gouge. What's going to happen? It's going to peel the paint right off. All right. Delamination. That's what's happening. So all these guys are like, oh, my skin delaminated. I'm like, it's because you scratched the hell out of your hull. All right? You scratched the hell out of your hull and you ignored it. And then water intrusion kept blasting on that lip and finally caught that lip caught the lip, and then that water got in between the fiberglass and the paint and it peeled that whole piece off. That's delamination. And that's how it starts, is small scratches in the hull that are left untreated. So go to color, maybe even 300. Yeah, 300, 200 or 300. And I would slowly bevel it out. I know it's going to freak you out, scratching your paint. But you want to open it up a little bit so that when you paint, it fills it in. Okay? You want to, I should be doing it like this. You want to fill in that gouge. And do it with the stages of paint. All right. Oh, did we freeze? Did we stop? Shoot, guys, I'm still recording. It says I'm live. Darn it. Okay, we're good. We're good now. Sorry about that. Shoot, I'm sorry, guys. Anyway, yeah, hey, Brett, you're going to want to take sandpaper. You're going to want to bevel that gouge and fill it up with paint. It's a 3-stage paint. Go get the kit from Color Right. All right. Cold air kit and engine breather will void the warranty. No, it will not. It will not. The Riva stock tune is the only warranty-friendly mod to the ECU. Matt, no reflash is ever warranty-friendly. The stock reflash, the stock 8000 reflash, is the closest you'll get to getting away with it. All right? If you're going in for an oil change, they're not going to check your ECU. If you go in for if you're motor grenades, guaranteed they're going to pull the ECU and they're going to check the history on it. Does that make sense? So if you have a map tuner, instead of sending your ECU off to be reflashed, you have the map tuner, plug it in and put your stock tune back in. You're done. You can reverse it and no one will know. It will not have any gaps in your history. All right. Mark, oh, good point, Mark. I spray a light new coat of clear coat on the bottom keel of my skis every fall. Cut and buff it too. Dang, guys, pay Mark to do yours. That's awesome. You were about to talk about Color Right. Okay. Color Right. You guys, Color Right is the only company out there that I know that has Yamaha's factory color codes. So go to Color Right, type in your ski. They'll have the colors, the colors for it. There's different kits. I mean, they'll sell you all the paint you need to paint the ski from top to bottom, but you probably don't need to do that. But they have a little brush kit with the 3 stages, and you can just dip your brush in there and then fill it in. Or they have small pints, and you can buy a pint of each, and then you can take like a small detail airbrush and fill it in that way. But you're definitely going to want to take some 200 or 300 grit and open up the edges a little bit and bevel it so that you can fill up and blend in that paint. And that way the paint's going to have more surface to adhere to as well. So that's really the best suggestion I can give you. All right. GP free flow exhaust is warranty friendly. They'll give you grief. And they'll probably give you a hard time if you have an engine failure, because you might get water intrusion through it because there's not the baffles to protect the engine if you were towing the ski too long or too fast. So, no. And by the way, guys, I know that the manufacturers are really cracking down on warranty. And guess what? I'm going to tell you this. A lot of people don't seem to realize this. All 3 manufacturers have an army of like college graduates who their whole job is to be online and to look at stuff online. And I know for a fact that a lot of them are connected to like warranty claims. So when someone says like, oh, this ski grenaded and I babied it, they'll send all that contact information to one of these interns, and they'll go on to Instagram, and they'll go on to Facebook, and they'll go on to YouTube. And if they see you like jumping your ski 30 feet in the air and like ringing it out, or like, hey, I just put my, Dean's Team Reflash and I just put my new Solus prop on it. Well, guess what? Ding, there goes your warranty. So a lot of criminals make make it really easy because they implicate themselves by posting stuff online. All right. Do you have a mount the catch can on the side of the engine? My mount? I'm not letting anyone know what I'm doing on my mount until it's ready. Or I mean on my oil separator. All right. What does it take to fill a small hole in a GTX? That's actually epoxy, because the hull of the GTX is made exactly like a jacuzzi is made. Go on to YouTube. You guys are on YouTube, and type in, how is a jacuzzi made? And that exact process is how the Sea-Doo hulls are made. Well, the STX CM Tech hulls are made. It's just like a jacuzzi. So you can fill it in with an epoxy resin. You have to color match it. Hopefully you have like a black or a solid color. Metallics are really hard to blend. All right. Do you have any ideas ETA for the Riva Grape for the 21 RX PX? This is going to be the last question, I think, because I'm already 2 hours and 10 minutes. All right. They're working on it. I know I'm getting one of the first ones, and I won't be able to publish a review on it until it's public, because obviously they don't want people like screaming on the phone like, where is it? But wow, it is really late. Yeah, I think they're going to have it ready in time for Aqua X. So April. That's my understanding, because I think they want to have it ready in time for the Aqua X racers. And if that's the case, because they don't want like a secret product out there, they want to have it available. And if that's the case, we'll obviously announce it on the magazine. But I know they're doing testing on it, and they're getting really good results out of it. The funny thing is, I got to share this. This is actually one of my favorites. Is we got $10 from BNN. Watercraft Journal rocks. Thank you. Woohoo! Thank you for the super chat, guys. All right, let me share this one story, and I'll get out of here because it's late. Okay, so Riva was really working on trying to get the ST3 hull to not lose the tail in corners. All right, because that's what happens. Is that the tail's so flat, the whole back of the ski is so flat that in corners it won't keep its traction, and it'll slide out. And the way to keep the ski from happening from that happening is to have the Pro Series sponsons, because the Pro Series sponsons are not, and I typically suggest that you set them at 4. There's 5 locations, and you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I set them down at 4, not 5, but 4 is the second to lowest one. The blades don't go straight down; they go out. And what's neat is that the backing plates are convex, and so and the reason why they're convex is because they're using the wall of the hull, the outside surface of the hull, to this convex curve, and keeping that convex curve angle with the blade all the way down. So what does that do? That produces an inverse strake. Okay, an inverse strake does 2 major things: creates suction, and it pulls that ski down. All right. Well, what is that? Why do you want that? Because if a ski is too light and it's too flat on the surface, it's skimming the surface. It's loose. All right. It's like a wet tire on a wet street. Well, pulling that tail down and then having those blades digging in, you got traction like a GT2 Porsche. Okay. Number two was they needed that intake grate. And the intake grate was to do a couple things. First, the new sponsons are designed to move the pivot point, which is where on the ski does it like to turn? Does it like to turn in the middle? Does it like to turn on the nose? Does it like to turn on the tail? For example, the FX Yamaha turns on the tail. Loves turning on the tail. The Sea-Doo ST3, because the hull is so smooth on the second half, they needed to move the pivot point further forward. So they wanted it up here. The ideal pivot point for the Sea-Doo is right at the nose of the intake grate. Okay. So what they were doing is at the sponson, if you look at the sponson is a lot deeper and thicker at the front, and it tapers in steps towards the rear, because they didn't want the pivot point at the rear, they wanted it up forward. And part of that was that the intake grate that they designed was super duper aggressive. And they designed an intake grate that slowed the ski down. And it slowed it down by like a mile, maybe 2 miles an hour. But it never unhooked. It never unhooked, ever. And they're like, dude, out in the ocean, rough, cross chop, around buoys, pinned full throttle. Every single guy they put out there, like, holy crap, this thing is Spider-Man. It can hang on the surface. This, I mean, like on, it can stick to the ceiling. It just has so much grip. And these guys were like, this thing's fantastic. But Bambus was like, I can't sell something that slows people down. But all the racers were like, dude, I'm going 85, 86. I don't care if I go 83, 84. I'm always hooked. But they still were like, we got to put the kibosh on it. We need something else. So they backed it off a little bit. They mellowed it out a little bit. The new intake grate on the ST3 works awesome, but it's not that one. That one just goes, ooh. I mean, it really just hooks. So that was a fun story. And I love hearing that kind of stuff. That was always kind of cool to me. All right. Guys, we're 2 hours and 15 minutes into this. All right. Could a prop really void warranty? Oh, interesting, Stephen. I had a dealer give me a hard time about an intake and ride plate. They tried to say it caused my coupler to go out. I can't imagine that would happen. Because you're not spinning higher RPM, and you're not putting more duress on the prop or the shaft itself. So, I mean, if you were seeing wear, like on the mid bearing, if you saw wear in the wear ring, then yeah, you could say, okay, this is causing some problems. But that wasn't the case. So they were in the wrong on that one. All right. Oh, okay. Jeremy writes, do I have to mount the catch can on the side of the engine? That is where the bracket is. It doesn't hurt it, and it's not in the way, and it keeps it out of the way. I do that. Just mount it. Okay. All right. Quick question. I had to replace my GP 1800R battery today. New battery does not have a breather hose connection. Just want to make sure I'm good to go. Thanks for your time. Okay, that's going to be tonight's question. That's going to be tonight's final question because it is late. All right. If the battery doesn't come with a breather, then it's fine because it's designed not to require any sort of ventilation. Now, if it ventilates to the inside of the engine compartment, which I can't imagine it would, because many of them are just sealed. Yeah, any battery, any motorsport, any marine grade motorsport battery, or marine grade battery for that matter, will definitely have an outlet for breathing. And if it doesn't, it's a sealed battery and you're good. So I wouldn't worry about that one. I think you're in good shape. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Today was really wonky. It was all messed up. I promise next week we'll be a little bit on, a little bit more dialed, and we will be starting at 7 o'clock like we're supposed to. I'm not going to be doing any more weird stuff. And yeah, thanks again, guys. We really appreciate it. Thank you for all the super chats. We very much appreciate. Guys, if you haven't already, please go and check out our Teespring store. That is at Watercraft Journal. You go to the drop down for shop, and it will say T-shirts and hoodies. We're selling shirts and hoodies. Please support the magazine by buying a shirt or hoodie. If you are planning a big ride, we strongly recommend, if you don't have a Sea-Doo, if you have a Yamaha or Cowie, or a pre-2012 Sea-Doo, I should say, please check out the auxiliary fuel system kit. This is the long hauler auxiliary fuel system. That is at watercraftjournal.com/shop. That is going to be the best way to add 13.5 gallons of fuel to your ski, and you won't have to stop and drag jerry can out and fill it up. So, guys, thank you again. We really appreciate it. Have a good night. We'll talk to you soon.